Humpbacks are baleen whales. When they open their mouths wide, the grooves under the jaw expand to gulp water containing food. Then the lid of the mouth is closed and the water is filtered through the baleen with a push of the tongue. Whales face other dangers beside whaling. The very first humpback whale I saw close up was dead. Had it been hit by a ship, or had he swallowed something too big for his throat? Baleen whales' throats are so narrow that a rope or bucket could choke a whale. This is the baleen that has been knocked out of the dead whale's mouth. This humpback calf has nylon rope tangled around his head. Its mother was starving and it had a big shark bite out of its tail. Local fishermen reported a whale with green drift net around its head. Dad found the drift net 4 days later. Somehow the whale had managed to escape the hangman's noose before he drowned. Not all whales are so lucky.
The other threat to humpback calves are the orcas. Orcas are not whales, they are dolphins. Their common name, killer whale, came from sailors who witnessed orca attacks on many different whale species, including the humpbacks. Although these attacks have rarely been witnessed, the fact that a third of the North Atlantic humpback whales have the typical raking scars of the orca's teeth is proof of the threat the orcas are to the calves on their first migration.
That spring we watched from the south shore for the whales migrating by, so we can learn more about the humpbacks and why they did some of the things they did. Dad decided to try and film them underwater so we could understand them better. In 2007, first year of the project, Dad used a small 24-foot boat out of Devonshire Bay. This was perfect for getting out quickly to where the whales were. By now he had some dedicated volunteers to help out. Sometimes he took me with him. He even let me drive the big boat.
In the shallow waters off South Shore, we often found mothers and calves. It seemed that they were resting. We found whales 1 out of every 3 days we went out. Often the whales were in the same place as the fishing boats, on the windward edge of the seamounts. Were the whales feeding on nutrient-rich waters created by an upwelling of deep water? Once I dived with the whales on these upwellings and was close to the whales, but I couldn't see them. There was so much plankton in the water. Where we thought the whales were feeding, I collected water samples. These samples were full of copepods, decapods, tiny fish, fish eggs, and krill. I discovered some old research papers that showed the quantity of zooplankton around Bermuda is highest during March and April, when the humpback whales migrate by. I also found out that Bermuda has as much as 70% of the zooplankton of the humpback summer feeding areas. One day I photographed a whale lobtailing. I was about to delete one of these photos when I realized it showed the whale defecating. If the whales have been starving down in the Caribbean for 4 to 5 months, then this photo is the first evidence they are feeding on the seamounts. It answers a question that has puzzled scientists for a long time.